Hey everybody, Tommy here, World at War Comics. Before we get into our next guest, love for you to hit that subscribe button, like, share, help get the word out that we are bringing on amazing creators for your enjoyment. So help us out by subscribing and sharing this video. All right, without further ado, here is Paul Thayer. He is the creator and writer for Project Naosis, which episode 6 is currently on Kickstarter. So get over there and check it out. One of the top indie books in the industry. I think you're going to love it. Full of action, incredible storyline. But without further ado, here is Paul and I. Hope you enjoy. What's up, everybody? World at War Comics back again with my good friend, Mr. Paul Thayer.
Wait, wait,
Project Naosis.
wait, restart. I feel like I did the nose thing. It's gonna make me look like a nasty demon. So
Yeah.
I tried muting and
Let the
restarted going
cocaine sit
through.
in. Ready to start? My buddy's all coked up.
Yeah.
And
So,
you're from Jersey, bro. You got that accent. It's not good, bro. All
dude, it's like it's dark out. It's just the weather. But yeah, I'm good now. I'm good now.
right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to World at War Comics. Back again with Mr. Paul Thayer, Project Naosis on Kickstarter right now. Cannot wait to dig into this next episode, my friend. But before that, how are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing fantastic. And yes, Project Naosis episode 6 is live on Kickstarter. Right now we're $96 away from goal. And hopefully, we're at goal by the time you post this. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I always have you on, my friend. I love Project Naosis. You know that. And I always love seeing you, man, whenever we're at a con, bro. You and the wife slanging Project Naosis and Crimson, everything, man. You're just slanging everything, brother. I love it, man. So let's talk about the Kickstarter. Obviously doing extremely well. Like you said, 96 bucks away. I'm gonna hit refresh during this because I feel like people are still backing as we're going here, man.
Yeah.
But congratulations on that, man. You're so close with 26 days. We're 4 days in, and you're almost at your goal. Insane, bro.
Yeah, so the most we ever raised was for Project Naosis episode 5. It broke all of our records, and that was our last Kickstarter. And we did 1,049 the first day. And by the end of the first day, we were over $2,000, and by the second day, we were at 2,500. So we're on a great momentum. It's the most we've ever had. It's the most cover A's we sold singly. So we did 25 cover A's on episode 5, and we're already at 28 for episode 6, and we're only 4 days in. They're only $10 books, so it's a very easy buy-in, $6 digitals, and then we have catch-up tiers as well, that range depending on what you want to get. But you can also just start with this issue because this issue is the origin of our main supervillain, Crimson Payne. Yes, part of the book is going to be the aftermath of previous issues, but I try to make every issue new reader friendly in a sense of you see what the beginning is, we have the middle, we have the end. And this one really is a full book, beginning, middle, and end, because we do find out the origin of Crimson Payne. And especially that, I'm more of a quarterly type book that I release, 4 books a year, that, I try to give it as much fullness and you get much fulfillment reading these books as possible. So I don't, of course, it's a cliffhanger, but, it's nothing that you're like done for. You really get that full book.
I love it, man. Well, I cannot wait to have a book focused on Crimson Payne. I feel like that's the greatest villain in comics. Absolutely love it. The one shot that you did of his is phenomenal. I think I've read it like 2 or 3 times, man. It's so
Thanks.
good. And the art is just spectacular. So, before we dig in and kind of share the screen and go through the Kickstarter, man, tell us a little bit about the team that you're working with to make all the magic happen, man.
Cool. So I'm the writer and creator. I'm also the publisher and editor, so I wear numerous hats. And then my artist is Samuel Marquise. He's been with us since Project Naosis episode 2. So he's done episode 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6. And he also did 2 of our prequel books called Omega 2090.
Yes.
So he's doing a decent amount with us. And then it's our colorist, Prasad Rao. He's been on all of our books except for Project Naosis episode 0. So he's been with me for quite some time. And we have Igor Texeria doing a variant cover, which he kills it on. And he's done a variant cover for us for Project Naosis episode 4. And it's the same type of vibe. I try to make all the covers similar to what's also in the interiors. And then always our cover A is always the person that does the interior artwork. So when you see it, you know what you're getting. You open it up, it looks the same. It's the same intensity. If anything, it's better. And that's why I've been going ham on social media, showing some spoiler stuff because I'm trying to hook these people in as we're growing our army.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm telling you, if you jump in, you will be hooked. It's action packed. And I'll let you say it, man. What makes your comic different than anybody else's when it comes to the characters in your book? Because it's fabulous.
Yeah, so it's super action packed. There's no multiverse or do overs, and we have numerous fight scenes in every single book. So if you see the fatality, they're dead. If they're not, they're alive. But we make sure that it's crazy and there's repercussions. Like, for example, there was a character called Prince Euro. He was a teleporter. He was in episode one. He versed a telekinetic called Rifter, and he used the telekinetic powers and crunched the armor on him. And he was out of action until episode four, which was the kickoff to volume two, and we're slowly building him back in. And it's the same thing with other characters. If you see, I'll go back to episode one again. They were fighting this character called Banshee, and she ended up being one of the main villains right now for volume two. That she's scarred and wears, the damage that happens because in movies or long TV shows or anime, you know, they wear the previous issues. So, if they have scars, they're keeping the scars. They have to keep that damage. And this is one big story that we're going for the end for. We're on episode 6. We're looking to do at least 35 episodes, including tons of one shots and spin-offs. And we're just stacking them up. And the stakes are always high. Episode 5, which was, like I said, our biggest Kickstarter, I think we did $4,421. That was Crimson Payne. So for 9 issues, our main villain never versed our main superheroes, and he fights 3 of our main superheroes in that book in an intense fight scene. And yeah, it doesn't go too well for some of the guys, but
Definitely does not go well. Yes, I agree. Well, awesome, man. Let's jump right into the Kickstarter. Let's share with everybody everything that you got going on, man. But here it is. We'll go ahead and hit refresh one more time just to make sure. All right, man. So let's walk through real quick. You kind of gave us an update. There he is right there. Look at that,
yeah,
man.
so it's 28. So I'm trying to do the Kickstarter layouts different. Like this is my 10th ever Kickstarter. So I've done this is now 10 Kickstarters, 2 Indiegogos, one Follow My Comic, and I'm learning as I'm going. But I definitely think I perfected a lot of things. And the main thing is just like, what is the book? What are we doing, right? So it's 28 pages, full color, following the origin of Crimson Paint, and I drop the image on you, which is the same image that you'll get in the interiors. And this cover is insane. So I originally had an idea for the cover, and Samuel texted me back and goes, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. And just made this crazy piece of art. And of course, it's the cover egg. You know what I mean? Like it shows pain. It has the blood going down his face, but it's rushing like he's crying. You have him drawing some weird blood symbol in the back of him and his girlfriend possibly. And the guy's definitely lost a couple marbles. And
Yeah, no,
in this
he's
book
missing marbles for sure.
we find out why, because in our first book you find out that he kills 90 million people and all the heroes that exist, and now you're going to find out why he does that. So
Nice,
can't
man.
be too nice. They couldn't have not done nice things to him. So, and then bam, jumping right into interior pages. So,
Look at
fun
this.
fact, this is page 14. So, there's 14 other pages prior to this before we get to this moment of some crazy stuff that I can't spoil.
Yeah.
And if I showed the pictures, people would be like, oh, this is where we're going with it. And it's definitely amping up. So, volume one was like, here are the characters, here are their powers, this is what it is. And now we're world building,
Yeah.
so we're building this world now for volume two. And one of the villains they captured in one of the previous issues was Vantage. He was the main villain in volume one. And right now he's getting interrogated. And, we're following the story from his perspective, but then it goes into Crimson Payne's perspective because it's just a good way to tie it in. And Crimson Payne used to be in this jacked out, armored up suit, but he was teased that he was in the Project Naosis unit in episode one. So now we see that armor that we're teased in the file, and we drop right in, and it's gonna be crazy. So
Well, the art as always is amazing, man. Look at
yeah,
this
so
right here, man.
spoilers, we're looking at some files as we're going through some memories, and it's showing, in episode 0, Crimson Payne fights this superhero called Odysseus. And as you can see, Odysseus and Crimson Payne are right there, together, showing maybe different paths of life, but started maybe at a similar spot.
Hmm.
And we'll see how that goes. I've been waiting for this, and I take part into like something like Robert Kirkman said on how you got to show it, right. So he learned that it was supposed to be issue 30 where you find out Omni Man's the bad guy, and then he made it to like 9 or 8 or
Wasn't
7 or
it? Was
something like
it
that.
Mark? Was it Mark Silvestri or no? It was it Savage Dragon? What's his name?
Eric Larson.
Eric. It was Eric Larson, I think, that said, "Why are you waiting until issue 30, man? We need to get going here." And then he moved everything up, and of course, Invincible
I think it was
Extreme.
Eric Stevenson. Eric
Eric
Stevenson.
Stevenson. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
And I heard that too, and it is true. I'm never afraid to change what's going on, long as we're getting to the same point.
Yeah.
And this information was more towards the ending for me,
Hmm.
but it originally the script was 6 books. Like I
Yeah.
said, now we're at 35. We're already past 6 issues, and the story's barely even touched yet. It's
Yeah.
just getting better at writing. And everyone loves Crimson Pain. I do votes on the Kickstarters, which and it's like, who's your favorite character? And it's 52% Crimson Pain, 46% Omega, and then
Yeah.
4% everybody else,
Yeah.
and everyone wants the Crimson Pain. It's why we did the one shot.
Yeah.
That's why we started off with him. And that's why we get this piece of information to also just give you a new perspective onto the villain. Not like, hey, feel sorry for me, but like, hey, this is why he's an asshole.
Yeah.
So
An asshole he is.
yeah, and we have the squad pick. You saw one of the squad picks in episode 1, which was teased,
Oh yeah.
and then now you see that there, and you see a more romantic side to my boy Crimson Pain over there, and you see Rifter, who is also in episode 1, and two characters who we still don't know who they are,
Mm.
but we're gonna find out in this issue. But like having a romantic scene with all the bodies underneath, it's just crazy. Like it's, I'm trying to go to that next level. Like, so for people that don't know, it's like I say the easiest way to put it is Mortal Kombat meets X-Men. But, we're definitely on that G.I. Joe,
Mhm.
versus Cobra Commander type stuff on how we're really, trying to set up this world. And like, it's not just going to be superheroes and villains. I'm really trying to build up to possibly a big giant war that's going to happen everywhere. Because you got to, build everything up and tear it all down. So that's what we're going for in this.
I love it, man. I love it.
And then, yeah, quick little tease. I made sure not to include the dialogue, but
Yeah.
you kind of get the gist of what's going on here.
I
And but you've only seen Crimson Pain be evil, right?
was gonna
You
say
saw
you haven't seen this
first.
side of him yet at all.
We got a glimpse in episode 5 on how he cared for Banshee. That
Yeah.
Banshee was down, and he wanted to do everything to save her.
Yeah.
But excluding that, you've never seen. It's always been, I knew who you are, and I'm just gonna brutally murder you regardless. He gets a little taunty in episode 5 to the heroes.
Yeah.
He goes a little more depth, but it's more coming from a place of ego that he just is telling them because he knows he's about to just manhandle all of them no matter what. And yeah.
He's
I,
had a lot
I
of
like him, man. He's definitely my favorite character. Him and Omega, like same as everybody else. And I'm trying to put more of a focal point on them,
yeah.
as we're pushing the story. So it's always good to, and you see it in the issues, like there'll be 4 pages of something, and sometimes I'll do like 2 pages of another character just so you could just build some momentum. Not, and a lot of comics will take what's in those 2 pages and make it the whole book. Like, no, get the main information, move on,
Yeah.
and go to the next thing. Like if it's needed, it's needed. If it's not,
Right.
it's not. Cut the lard.
All right, let's look at all of these covers. So we already got a glimpse. So is there a version cover and
Yeah, yeah. So this is cover A, and then we did an exclusive cover, which is cover C, which is the virgin print of this. It was too fire not to do a virgin print of it. We're
yeah.
doing 100 copies just for it. I usually never reprint the variants, anyways. I actually never have. But now I'm just making it known, like, hey, we're only doing 100, and when they go, they go. So cover A, this is the most cover A's we've ever sold. Of course, in different tiers, sometimes there's 10, 15 more units, 20 more units. But right now, just the cover A tier, we're at 28, which is insane to beat our whole last Kickstarter. That means the people like it. So if you're a people and you like comic books, we got you on this one. Just grab episode 6. I told everyone just even grab episode 5 last time. Like,
Yeah.
we got this. It's what you've been missing. So yeah, cover A by our interior art team, and then cover B by Igor Texeria and Prasad Rao. Igor, he does a lot of concept art for the Rippaverse. He's an
Mhm.
insanely talented artist, great friend.
Yeah.
Shout out my guy Igor, referring me for people. He actually got me picked up for a writing gig for this other company I'm going to be working for. So shout out my guy as well.
Nice, man. Congrats, Paul, man. Congrats on the success, bro. This looks
Yeah,
awesome.
I love the action in it. You know, like just the bullet going through. You
And
see
the eye
her.
kind of just sitting there.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, it's very fatality. And that's the vibe of this. Like clearly that guy's done. He's not coming back like Langstrom Levy. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
he's done from that spot right
He'll be a
there.
robot with the skin after this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Electrite, that's Electrite. And she's gonna be really cool too. And even though, and this is a good thing to say, even though I'm giving this information in this book, doesn't mean it's all the information.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, there's always awesome surprises.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
jump
Like
into
it's
that
the
Project
origin to an
Naosis.
extent.
Yeah, yeah,
I do a glimpse into the one shot, like what maybe the Goliath actually was, which is cool. I like changing perspectives on
yeah.
things. So
Love it, man. Well, that looks freaking awesome. Here's the version that we were just talking about, which is
only $15. The
yeah,
other ones are 10. So
yeah,
easy buy-ins. Of course we gotta do $10 shipping. USPS, they charge an arm and a leg now. I used to be 5, but it's over 5 now, and then plus all the equipment I need, you know. But yeah, this one's sick,
yeah,
and you can get all 3 covers, you can get 2 covers, you can choose your cover if you get a bigger tier.
yeah,
But I'm super excited, and people have been picking up the Virgin covers too.
yeah. It looks phenomenal, man. All right, jump into the awards here, man.
All right, cool. So, digital, you get a PDF sent right to your email. It's a transfer link. You download it, and then you'll get it right away whenever we finish the book. And the book is 90% finished. So I don't even launch a Kickstarter if not all the lines and inks are done because I see what are the main complaints in crowdfunding. It's my book's not delivered, the book's not what it was, etc. It's because some things happen.
Yeah,
People have emergencies, whatever. I make sure there's no emergency because
yeah,
it's all done except for the colors and lettering, which you know, we could figure out. You know what I mean? But the artwork has to stay the same.
yeah,
So. But Prasad is amazing too on the colors. So yeah, so $6 digital, right to your email, no problem.
yeah.
Next one, $10. You get 28 pages of pure awesomeness. And then same with cover B. Cover C, only 100 copies. Once we're done, never again, $15. If you want cover A and cover B, you could do it for 20. Bam, what a deal.
Yeah.
Um, I started making my own thumbnails too, which is cool. So like the bottom one's like 200 pages of story and stuff. Like I'm getting better at this. I also made my video. Like I did it all myself.
Oh, you
You know,
did?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did it through CapCut and just I always tell someone how to do it. So the only part I was missing was just doing it. I was like, I want this to be here, and I record my voice and send everything. So I was like, might as well just do it for myself, so it's free, and I think it's the best one.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well,
um,
you've even helped me out a couple times, so I appreciate it, man.
yeah, yeah, I got you, I got you.
Yeah, I know,
You
you're
need to
awesome.
change those thumbnails. It's important.
Yep, yep.
Um, but digital, if you scroll up a little bit for
Oh,
a
sorry.
second,
Yeah,
so
there you go.
200 pages of story, $25, PDF right to you. If you're unsure about Project Naosis, you want to try it all, you get 0 all the way to 6, $25 right to your email.
That's
And
awesome.
all this stuff is already done except for episode 6. So, you're guaranteed a lot of great stuff. And then the next one is all covers, $30. So you get $5 off if you want to just buy all 3.
Yeah,
Of course, we have a limited amount that we could sell on each of those tiers just because, I'm only selling 100.
yep.
And then if you want the physical copy, you get the trade paperback, which is 120 interior pages. It collects 0, 1, 2, and 3. We have episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6 for only $60. I used to sell my trades for 50. I still do, honestly. If you go on my website, they're $50. Sometimes you do deals that they're 40 or 30, but you get everything you see there for $60. Can't beat that.
That's
Can't
awesome.
beat that. It's a lot of content, 200 pages, you ain't getting that nowhere.
Yeah.
And then if you want everything, you get both covers of episode 6. You get episode 5, you get 4, you get volume 1, you get our Crimson Payne one shot, and you get our prequel books for $100. You
Nice.
know, super easy. You get everything. The art's fantastic. It's off the hook. Everyone loves this stuff. And if you've never gotten anything, you got some extra money that you want to throw around, boom, get this. I promise you, it won't disappoint.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last one, and that's a showcase. I showed one of our custom my character pages. So we think of a character, we design it together. Of course, I have to make sure that it's copyright friendly, meaning I would own all the rights, of course, and it can't be the Incredible Hulk or George Clooney, but we can make badass characters that's going to be featured on a splash page. This was episode 4, and we had 2 guys that did that tier, and we made a beautiful double splash page, and then we threw Banshee and Hellsate in the back as they were fighting in that issue to keep it in the lore. And all these characters I say will have a future cameo. Sometimes I put the faces back in as other characters so you can see it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm building up to this war. It's not for a long time, but I need as many kill characters as possible. So we're making a lot of cool stuff, and they will make an appearance, if not a bigger appearance,
Mm-hmm.
later on, because even these characters came out fantastic, and it's a lot of fun. Like, if I never made a comic, and I didn't have the time, I wish DC or Marvel or Image did something like this where you could do it, and it's only $200, and you're in my book forever. So like, and it's cool.
I love it, man. That's a dope idea.
And
I
then add-ons, you can add all the stuff we have on. We have the trade paperback, we have episode 4, we have everything that you need. That if you want to order things differently, like if you just want to grab episode 6 and add our newest books 4 and 5, you can.
yeah.
Because I try to make, on top of like trying to make it easy to pick up any book, I want to make the volume as whole easy to pick up as well. So when we do sell them as a trade, they do
Mhm.
have the beginning, middle, and end, and then you can just go from there. Because I want to eventually just get everything in trades, and move on. So really, when you get these single issues, we're not going to print too many after a couple thousand. So,
Yeah, yeah.
shout out my boy VKen. VKen did an episode 5 cover, our video game cover. You can add that on as well. It was one of our sickest covers we ever did,
It's awesome.
and
He's
we
so
got
good,
that
man.
out.
I love V, man. V is awesome.
Yeah, we're going to do something for episode 7. I'm just going to figure out what cover I'm going to have him do. But he's doing Green Lantern right now. Super awesome guy,
Yeah.
and yeah, definitely want to put him on more stuff.
Yeah.
Star Pops,
Awesome.
Crimson Payne one shot, and then we have Omega 2090 books 1 and 2. That's going
Yep.
to be a 4-part miniseries, but you could read both those issues. They have a beginning, middle, and end. The
Yep.
cliffhanger has nothing to do with in Project Naosis in a sense. So like, you could take that information and go, oh, this is why how Omega got his powers. So we made sure it's easy. We have a homage trade paperback. We did the giant size
Oh,
X-Men. If you
yeah.
want a variant cover for the trade, we do have them. I only have about like 15 left. I don't know how many I put on there, and I'm gonna sell some at WonderCon this week. Shout out WonderCon booth SP42. Say what up. And
SP42.
yep, small press. And then we have our another trade cover. Julian Shaw made a great cover, who's also done interior work. And the last cover too is by Corey Hampshire. Corey Hampshire did Project Now episode 0. And then hybrid trading card, limited to 25. So these trading cards, those are going to be our stretch goals too. I really want trading cards. It's like, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! I loved all that stuff when I was younger.
Yeah.
I want my own trading cards. So once we hit 10K, we can start adding those trading cards in. So get us to 10K, everybody. And then t-shirt. If you want a t-shirt, we're going to do an episode 6 cover. And then we'll print those out, and those will be super cool as well. Just ship it right to your door.
Nice. That's dope.
And then, first time reader, where do I start? I say, grab this issue or grab the whole catch up tier is your best way to put it. You can grab 6, like you'll see what the world is. Like
Yeah.
I try to do little recaps too from different perspectives, which you'll get in this one.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it.
Freaking awesome, man.
Fulfillment. So as you know, I was for most of my Kickstarters, I did everything. Like, people would get their books in a month to 2 months after it ended.
Yeah.
I'm being a nice 3 months after we close. 3 months is more than enough time for me. Like I said, I go into this book already ready to roll, and we have 11, 12 campaigns prior that I already did this for. So it's ready to roll. If you're afraid of crowdfunding because you never get your shit,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. I'm here.
I can
And
vouch. I've gotten everything I've ever backed, so you're good. You're good.
yeah, it's like even my 120 orders, I did it all in a day, and shipped them all out right when I did them. It's just about grind time, and I'm ready to grind. And then
Nice.
stretch goals, like Crimson Payne trading card, Omega trading card, and a Crimson Payne Origin, which would just be cover A. I'd put that as the trading card cover because it's such a
So
sick
dope.
pose.
Yeah.
And we do that. So, and then I also wanted to hook people. So if anyone wants to check out some spoiler pages, I put pages from the last issue spoiler. You should scroll down. We should show them.
Did I do it? All right.
Yeah. So we have a double page spread of Omega and Thorn hyped up. You're going into this like, wow, these guys are going head on with our main villain, Crimson Payne. They're gonna beat his ass. And it shows Crimson Payne on the next page. And they're fighting Crimson Payne. Both of these aircrafts that they were fighting on crash to the ground. And yes, Crimson Payne goes head on with these guys. And this is just the beginning. There's 8 more pages after this of story. And he's blasting, he fights them too, and then show that awesome double page because I showed the double page. Bam! Blast one of their faces off, or at least halfway to hell. So and then there's 8 more pages of madness after this. I did this to, if you've never seen Project Naosis and you need to see it, just
Yeah.
see it. Like just see this is, and I just released the other one today of one of the fatalities to one of the limbs of one of the characters, but it was like I wanted you to see what you're getting. Like this is one of like the 6 action scenes that are like in a 28-page book. So it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
I love it, man. Well, this looks freaking phenomenal. Yeah, if you're not reading this book, man, I'm telling you right now, it is the most action-packed comic you will ever read in your life. The art is fabulous. The story is incredible. Paul, you're at the top of your game when it comes to indie comics, my friend. And I see you at all these cons, bro. I'm not sure there's too many people better than you at what you do, man. So congrats.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I might not have the comic book experience, but I have the sales experience. I have a high sales background. I've taught over 500 people how to sell. I ran LA Fitnesses. I ran tons of different businesses, and I'm very good at that. But I've been doing this for full time now,
Yeah.
and we kill it at conventions. We sell hundreds, 500 copies at some of these conventions, if not more. And I showed some of the community that we have and my table setup. That was my table setup at Terrificon. But we
Yeah.
do New York Comic Con. I do San Diego Comic Con. I do Terrificon. I do WonderCon. I do so many shows, and I'm just trying to amp it up constantly to build my 1,000 warriors so we could do this forever.
Yeah.
And 35 is the end game, but I would love to go to a solid 50, solid 100. It could keep going. But I would
Yeah.
say like the main story ends at 35, where I can just put a nice little bow on it, like Saga, and just move on.
Oh, McFarlane says you gotta get to 50, bro.
I need to get to 50, but
Yeah.
I also don't want the story
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just joking with you,
to
man.
diminish. You know what I mean? Like I added a lot of things, like in a lot of characters that make the story full.
Yeah.
Um, but the main thing that I want to happen, which is the original idea is episode 35 of like
Yeah.
what I want the world to be. And we can see what we do. We can go 36, or we can go some new ones. You can do a lot of cool stuff. No multiverse though. Don't worry, it's not going to be number 1 with Crimson Pain. He's
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a dinosaur. It's like Crimson Pain after the fact, or Omega after the fact.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. Look at that. There's a few people that I know there.
Yeah. So shout out, Tom McFarlane, Gary V, Enzo Amore. Me and Enzo are doing a book together. He now goes by Real One, and he's Eric is his real name. He's absolutely fantastic. I met him at New York Comic Con, and we're making a book, Lethal Leopard. That's going to be fantastic. But I try to make as many connections as possible. I sell the books, and I also want to show people that are in stores or even in network. That I'm here, and I just keep knocking on the door. It's like anything else,
Yeah.
because comics is weird, right? Like there's no careers.com on Marvel for comic book writer or comic book artist. Same with DC, which is, every other business has, so DC, Marvel, if you're listening, just make a careers page,
Yeah.
maybe,
Exactly.
maybe, maybe you'll find some young up and coming talent that wants to murder for you.
Which
But
they
yeah,
need. Which they need.
yeah, they need, man. And, so many great people, some of these people I met when
There's
I was
Eric Larson.
younger. Eric Larson, awesome guy.
Yeah.
Arthur as well, Marvel Zombies, killer. And I'm just trying to make an impact, and I'm hustling all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Shout out my boy David, Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Try to. This
David's
is just
awesome.
some people. Sometimes I get some celebrities that come by, and I post some pictures with them too.
Yeah.
Because everyone's at New York Comic Con or San Diego. Anyone that says it's niche market until those events. Like
Yeah,
those
exactly.
two events are 200 to 400,000 people. People that do MMA are coming there.
Yeah.
Like everyone wants to come to the Javits Center and wants to come to the convention center in San Diego. It's
Yeah.
it's
For sure.
known to be the thing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. Well, you're killing it, brother. You're killing it, man. So happy for you. Glad that you are so close to your goal. I know you're gonna hit it, man, without an issue.
Yeah, we're trying, and it's definitely gonna get like I said, and I was saying to you earlier, like, I spend anywhere from 7 to 10,000 in issues. So really at 10,000 is where we want to be.
Yeah.
But I'm totally okay. I make a low goal and I want to get there. I definitely see this one going past 5K,
Yeah.
of course, where I usually hit three. I think I hit 3K like halfway into my campaign on the last one. So we're about to be there right now on day 4. I
Yeah.
don't see why not. This is my second podcast I'm doing. I didn't do any. So like the last one too, I was like 2, 3, 4 podcasts every other day.
Yeah.
You know, keeping it simple. I'm seeing the boys.
Yeah.
We're building it up.
Yeah.
I was just here 4 months ago. Do I have the award yet for most people on your show yet, or am I
I
almost
think so. This is your, is it fourth or fifth time?
there? It might be fifth.
Yeah, I think you do now have the award for the most times being on the podcast, my friend. I'll have to get like some sort of a trophy or something and send it to you, bro.
Yeah, and I do watch your podcast,
I
so which
appreciate you,
which
man.
is
Yeah,
which is great to know. There's not a lot of us out there that are making banger podcasts, and you're making one.
I
I would
appreciate
say
it.
my preferred comic book podcast. You and Liefeld I listen to, and I'm
I
a psycho.
love, I
I
love
don't
rock.
listen to music. I
Yeah.
listen to podcasts at the gym. So it's
Yep.
like when I'm there or like I'm working out, it's you talking, and I'm still working out. Like, wow, he must be listening to heavy metal. I'm just like, no, I'm I'm listening to you talk to Jimmy or Todd and just
Yeah, yeah.
working.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. Well, congratulations, Paul, man. I'm so happy for you, bro. You're gonna get to 5K, man. We're gonna help with that. I will be busting this out all over social media nonstop, man. Just send me a reminder. Hey, put it out there again, man. I got you. I love Project Naosis. Love everything that you're doing, man. You are definitely someone everyone should be following. If you want to know how to do indie right, again, when we talk about you hitting almost your goal in, 3.5, 4 days, the work that you have put in to get to this point, I think all indie creators need to realize. Like if you're doing an indie book and you're on issue 2 and you're struggling, bro, everybody does, man. And some people go above and beyond to ensure that they build a strong audience, and you do that at a very high level, man. And so I think that's the lesson here, man. You have to be consistent. You have to follow through. Yeah, and you gotta be places, man. People need to see you, and you do all three of
Yeah,
those well.
and this one too, I just randomly dropped. It was either like there was a window, right? I originally wanted to release it the first week of March, but the pages weren't done. So if the
Yeah,
pages aren't done, it's my rule. I don't care if there's 2 pages left. It
yeah,
needs to be done because then I would make another book or release another book while we're waiting. And it finally came in, and then I was like, okay, let me get the colors. And my colorist, Prasad's been doing some DC stuff and doing other sort of stuff, so he's getting busy. But I love Prasad; he's the only one that's coloring my books, and he's an amazing person. And I was like, okay, if I don't do it now, I have so many conventions that I can't release it until like May.
yeah.
So I was like, I got the color pages in, and the next day I just dropped it, and then like it was such a good response, to see that many people back and get it to where it is, and knowing that it's just the beginning. Like I'm on episode 7. Episode 6. Next one's 7. And then I just feel like the more we do, the more people are just going to join because I don't see too many Kickstarters, excluding Lady Death,
Mhm.
that do anything that's above 4 issues.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's hard, right? You got to be really consistent and you got to be sold on what you're doing, right? You need to be
Like,
a believer. And so
like,
you already know where you want to go. And I feel like that's an amazing driving factor.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm doing it no matter what. Like I could
Yeah.
have stopped a long time ago when I spent 10,000 twice in a row, and I'm just taking all of my money and just shoving it into these books.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm grateful enough where I do really well at these conventions that it does pay for all this stuff, but
Yeah.
still, it's still dumping 40 grand, 50 grand, like into something constantly and waiting. But I think it was Ice Cube. Ice Cube said it on a podcast. It was like, if you're not ready to make no money and grind for 5 years until you make it, you're not ready. And I'm grateful enough that I was making money since the beginning,
Yeah.
but I'm ready. I'm still 3K is great, 4K is great. I'm still doing the next, keep going. I'm going to 35, and it's, come with me,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
'cause we're getting these out because they do move at these conventions. There
they
isn't
do.
too many books on the floor
Yeah,
that's not from one of these big publishers that have more than 4 issues,
yeah.
or it's one hardcover, or it's one, like there's not too many. And the people that are killing it in direct to consumer, like Rippaverse and, like Inglorious Rex and those books like that, like these guys are, building their market, but I'm trying to do it like both ways,
Yeah.
direct and in the conventions, trying to I'm absorbing from everyone because I see there's a lot of people firing on all cylinders, and comics are at its best. Like I said, there's people like the Rippaverse that are doing 500,000 a month in sales, and then
Crazy.
there's Battle Beast and Batman and Absolute Batman that are doing over 400,000 copies.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, it's not like the Image Days. It's not like the Image Days. We sold 2 million copies, but those were 99 cents. These are
Yeah.
6.99, 4.99 at
Yeah.
400,000. That's, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that's better, right? Like in a sense, you're
Yeah.
selling a
Yeah.
$5 or $7 book and you're selling 400,000. That's more money,
Yeah.
So as long as they keep up the momentum, I definitely think we're in the a rebirth in comics.
Yeah.
But like when the sand settles, I think the new guys need to stomp their way in, and I'm hopefully if there's like a nice pathway for me, I'll fit through, and get in there because I would love Ghost Rider or one of those guys.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
out Batman's a big ask, but Black Cat, no Wildcat.
Oh, Wildcat. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Give me Wildcat, Green Arrow, or Ghost Rider, and I'm
Yeah.
ready, dude. I'm ready. No Hawk and Dove. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no.
I do that too. I do that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just gotta get your foot in the door, man. But yeah, you
Yeah.
you got the skill set for sure, bro.
And I love the medium. Like I'm still picking up books every month.
Yeah.
Big Spawn guy. I'm picking up everything Spawn. I just picked up all the Tales of Gunslinger.
Yeah. Those are
I'm
so
trying
good.
to. Yeah, it's great. And then, but that's the thing about also those books too. It's like you go in and then you see four on the shelf, and I like that's what comic stores are doing now. They keep doing the reprints, so they have 1 to 5 there, and then I could just grab all six and like whatever the new one is, and it's like okay, cool, But I love everything that's coming out. I'm a big fan of Spawn right now,
Yep.
and a big fan of Absolute Batman and Ultimate Wolverine, I think, are the three. Those are my three best right now. I think Ultimate Wolverine is like the best Marvel has right now, and I think Absolute Batman is the best DC got right now.
They're pretty
And
damn
Image
good.
is hitting everywhere. They got Geiger, they got Redcoat, they got
Yeah, I mean, Ghost Machine is on fire, man. There's not a bad comic out of that entire bunch, man. But again, when you bring all stars in the industry together to create their own publishing company, you should have banger after banger, right? It would be disappointing if they didn't. But I mean, Peter Tomasi, obviously Jeff Johns, and then the art, Jason Fabak on Rook Exodus. Some of the
yeah.
best art I've ever seen in my life. The detail is insane. All the helmets. Like, dude, it's crazy. I mean, you could see why he had to do 6 issues and take a couple month break because, man, the detail that he's doing is insane.
Yeah, and then even Geiger, I recommend Geiger to like
Yep.
everybody that I see because it's out of all of them, it's definitely the easiest one to get into in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No,
And
it is.
then
I agree.
like Red Coat is really complex. Like if you
Yeah.
don't like reading, I wouldn't recommend that, but I love it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
cool how it has the intro. It's very TV. It's very cinematic.
For
But I
sure.
think everyone's doing great stuff.
Yeah.
So which is I think it's the what is it? The tide that lifts all ships.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like when it's really hitting, it's hidden.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I
I want
gotta
to be part of that.
I gotta shout out Conan the Barbarian though too, man. If you're not reading Conan, you're making a huge mistake, man. Titan Comics took it over from Marvel, and ever since Jim Zub took over, if you love kind of like what you're doing, man, if you love brutality at its finest with some of the best art from Doug Braithwaite or Roberto De La Torre, oh my gosh, man.
And you had him on your podcast too. That's the only reason why I know this book
Yeah.
exists, to be honest.
Well, Jim Zub, I've had on, I think, three. I love Jim Zub.
I listened to the one where he was saying that there was like, right, it was like every 1 or 2 issues, it's kind of like a restart. He was saying, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you like, I grew up with Conan, so like I don't have the entire run because it's from the 70s, but I have issues 1 through like 15, and then I got a bunch in the middle up to 100. But what's great about Conan is all of Conan, because Conan was created by Robert E. Howard, and
yeah,
they're all created like the story. It was created by story, and each story was 3 or 4 issues, and that story ended, and then Conan went on a different adventure in a different part of the Hyborian Age. So he went to a different country, and then there's like 3 parts there. So you could jump in on Conan, and maybe you're only one behind from the beginning of the story. So maybe you only need 16 through 19 to get that story. But once you have it, you could read that whole story and fulfill in full, and then you could jump out and then jump back in 10 issues later and still be able to do it. So it's always been that way. That's why I love Conan, because you don't feel like I need to know what happened in issue 2 to understand what's happening in issue 50. No, you just need to know what happened in the last issue, or maybe two,
yeah. Which
because they're all 3, 4 part, and then that's it. The story ends and they move on to a new story and a new adventure.
yeah, that's really what I'm trying to do too. Like it's easy to
Yeah.
do it, and it is easy to do.
Yeah.
Even without referring like see issue 4. Like you can
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of you can have someone else talk about the thing that happened, in
Sure.
a sense that doesn't make it uninteresting. Like for the newest issue for episode 6, like I recap some of the moments from one of the characters' perspectives that was in this horrible thing that happened in the last issue. And that's another thing too. I have to I have to amp it up. Issue 0, 90 million people died. Episode 5, we had the
I think if you
gas.
start at 90 million, it's really hard to get back to that though, bro. Like,
But I think the last one was pretty intense.
yeah, yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
an explosion to bleeding out of your pores kind of
Yeah, yeah.
sucked. And then I'd rather be exploded, you know? And then we get worse.
Everybody in your title goes through hell, bro. Hell and
Yeah.
back, man. I love it.
There's not a lot of people that are happy. There's not a lot of people that are happy in my books, but we do
Yeah.
have some. I also did debut because I want those different elements. We had those city heroes, which was the
Mhm.
Voltage and Imperium that I
Yeah.
had in the last issue, that they're definitely going to be a bigger part. But I feel like, and they were supposed to be an issue too, and that's what I'm saying. Like, don't be afraid to change things because,
Yeah.
like, if it fits better later, and it did, like, if it's if you had that many characters in the second issue, people wouldn't read my book. So it's like, it's a team book, and maybe we get some new recruits, and we gotta have the fresh meat waiting for us after the other ones go to the Twister or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, Paul, congratulations, bro. We're gonna help push this out, man. I want to see you get to that 10 grand, and I hope I get to bump into you at one of these cons here very soon, my friend.
Probably. Are you gonna go to San Diego?
I'm not sure I'll make it. I'm gonna try, but it just depends with work, man. I've been traveling quite a bit for work.
Shout out San Diego Comic Con. This is my last thing I'll say. Finally
Yeah.
got. They gave me a corner table.
Sweet. You got a nice
So you
table,
got to
bro.
earn that, guys. You got to earn that. So they gave me the corner table. It's been 5 years, and now I finally have a corner table at San Diego Comic Con, right by that back entrance. The back entrance when you come in, dude. I
Yeah.
love them. Shout out my boy Rod.
Score.
Yeah.
Score, man. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, Paul, man. Always great to see you, man. Love everything that you're doing, and you're welcome anytime, man.
Yeah, I gotta keep the title going. So any of your
Yes.
celebs that you have on now that want to come for my title, tell them they can't unless they hire me.
All right, sounds good. That's fair. I'll do that. All right, Paul, man. Have a good one, brother. Good to see you
You
again.
too.
All right, bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.